completely disagree with what the Vice Chair has said. The reason why we come here is not because we are members of political parties. It's because there are people who vote for us. Those people believe that the state has captured the resources of our country. This money is being allocated because of corruption to sections where it will be stolen. And the argument is, if it's being stolen at the national level, let it also be stolen at the county level. May I agree with Eddie, whether you had agreed on Friday on it, if it was 450, so be it. But I know you will not give it 450, so I leave.
Okay, now the floor is open. We'll also persuade Senator Eddie to come at the same level. Now, co-chair. That's also progress. Senator Eddie.
Chair, I don't know why I'm given a chance to talk now, because I gave a rationale. And I'm a very difficult person to persuade without rationale, without science. And I gave a rationale for what I think are county functions that have been hidden in the budget on state departments that even if you were to give counties, okay, they will not drastically have a dent on national government to be able to drastically devolve those functions. It's just a matter of rerouting the budgets. And I had indicated last week the specific places where those monies are coming from. And I identified for you 78 billion, in water department. I don't get it why a county, like, for instance, Wajir, would be forced, Mr. Chair, would be forced to deal with managing over 20 boreholes when at the same line item, National Assembly, related national government is given over 1 billion to do a dam. It doesn't make sense. So help me see the sense in terms of where the figures I talked about in the last meetings were. Why is it difficult to remove them and give them to counties? Then I can see why you cannot give counties 450. And Chair, I want also to make it, I want to be on record and say that this is also the position of my party leader, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And not only his position in and out of himself, but also in the agreement that they had with the president, that it is possible to remove monies that have been hidden for functions of devolution that are put in national government, in the ministerial department and agencies. I had enumerated them last week. They came to 78 billion. Remove it and give it to counties. So it will be very difficult for me to see it from 450.
Senator Kalwale, Senator Baya, Mheshimiwa Baya, let me just finish with them so that we can find some convergence, then we can open up. Kwa wale walikuwa kwa hiyo mkutano ya juzi.
Mr. Chairman, we don't want to repeat ourselves, but we have to make ourselves even clearer in view of the fact that we have members who are not in the last meeting. There is 133 billion shillings in this budget meant for health, which is fully devolved, being held at the national level. Similarly, 120 billion being held at the national level for housing. Thirdly, money for environment and water, 104 billion held at the national level. And finally, for agriculture, 48 billion held for no reason at the national level, totaling to 405 billion shillings meant for functions which are devolved but held in this budget at the national level. So when I propose that we enhance the 4 or 5 in your bill, colleagues from the National Assembly, to 430, we are simply taking 25 billion from the 405, which is held at the national government in the first place. So don't find it difficult. you don't have to struggle. The 430, the 25 billion that you will need, you simply get from that money which is wrongly being held at the national level. I accept that that money should be held because there is a ruling by the Supreme Court that guided us that devolution will be achieved progressively. So if we can, for purpose of progressing this, mediation, can we agree at 4:30 as the entry position so that then we can start our engagement from that position?
Mr. Co-Chairman, I just wanted to say that, you've allowed Senator Alwale and Senator Eddy to advance our hypothesis behind their figures, which obviously things we have already discussed in the last meeting. And I wanted just to, before you agree on the figures, just to challenge them that, what we are now doing, we are now discussing transfer functions. We are not discussing mediation between Dora. We are not now discussing Dora. You have moved us from discussing division of revenue bill to discussing transfer functions that are still held in national government to counties. And I don't think that is the reason why we are here. Yeah, I think we need another forum where we can go and discuss those ones and agree with the people who are holding those functions and they should transfer them to counties. Otherwise, for this meeting, I think let us restrict ourselves to discussing the sharing of revenue between national government and county government. Honorable Eddy, we agreed yesterday that you do not expect, on Friday, that you do not expect water functions to be transferred to Migori County where there is no engineer who can even supervise drilling of a borehole. So if that is to happen, then we must agree, we must have a formula where we are going to transfer the functions that are being done by water authorities. We transfer water authorities to counties so that they can be able to, they now report to counties, then now we transfer the functions. Otherwise, from here, my brothers, I think what we are doing here, we are just now doing politics. Also about in introducing this issue of agreement, broad-based agreement. It's not part of the bill here. If you have looked at the bill, there is no section where it is written that this section refers to broad-based agreement or whatever was signed. Let us restrict ourselves to the contents of the bill which is before us. And you note that whatever was discussed somewhere else is not part of this bill, Senator Eddy. I want to persuade you as my younger brother that let us. And I also want to also persuade you that, I'm also co-chairman, courtesy of ODM. So I'm also serving ODM interest in this meeting. So I think we will not disagree, As much as you're serving ODM interest, I'm also serving ODM interest. And ODM interest is prosperity of counties, stability of counties, devolution, enhancing resources devolution. So we are all doing that collectively. So I think we don't need to belabor that point. Thank you.
Coach, I wanted to navigate it to a point where we can start negotiation. Now you've weighed in and taken it the other direction, because when I requested Onyonka to allow your colleagues who are here before to come to a point of convergence, the interest was to progress. I don't want us to have a lot of back and forth engagement. Can I request, please, Honorable Senators Eddy, Kisang, Alwale, that we come to a common position to start our mediation today from. Alwale, you've expressed yourself at 4:30. I want to request Senator Eddy, Senator Kisang, if you can agree we start at 4:30. This mediation, which is a progress from our engagement on Friday. Kisang.
I was at 4:35, and since the Kalwale's proposal was 4:30.425, I'm willing to climb down to 4:30.425.
Very good. Senator Eddy, also you will persuade him to be there. Senator Onyonka, that is the discussion we've had. I just want to, before we open up now for all the members, I want to persuade you to be at the same level with your team who are here on Friday.
Thank you, Chair. I completely disagree with what the Vice Chair has said. The reason why we come here is not because we are members of political parties. It's because there are people who vote for us. most people believe that the state has captured the resources of our country. This money is being allocated because of corruption to sections where it will be stolen. And the argument is, if it's being stolen at the national level, let it also be stolen at the county level. May I agree with Eddie, whether you had agreed on Friday on it, if it was 450, so be it. But I know you will not give it 450, so I leave.
Okay, now the floor is open. We'll also persuade Senator Eddie to come at the same level. Now, Co-Chair, I think you can progress.
Members, I think we don't need to advance so many arguments because what we are discussing is just agreeing on the figures, isn't it? We know if we allow this meeting to be about arguments, then we will argue until tomorrow. So I think let us just look at the figures, just for the benefit of Co-Chair, for the benefit of this new meeting. We had given you a background of where we are coming from as the team representing National Assembly, and we said that we are starting our negotiation, our mediation process from a point where the current allocations to counties is for 387 billion. 387 billion. Now, from where we left on Friday, we were essentially going up by about 20 billion. 21 billion, I think so. If you add if you add what we are if you subtract 408 for 387 from 408, then you have about 22 billion, I think so. So essentially, we are going up by about 22 billion. That was our argument on Friday. 21 billion. That's our argument from Friday, and we also looked at the presentation by the Senate, which touched on what they call non-discretionary expenditures. When we summed up the non-discretionary expenditures, we were coming up with a figure of 23 billion, yes. If you add up the non-discretionary expenditures, which include housing levy deductions at 4.1 billion, enhanced contributions to NSSF 6 billion, matching allocations for CHPs, annual wage increments, and basic salary increments as per the doctor's CBA 2017-2021. The only thing we did not include here is matching allocation to the KIPES project, which we agreed as a committee that is something which governors and national government agreed in principle, and that governors knew where they were going to factor in those resources from. So members, from where we sit, I think we were making very good progress. We are going up by 21 billion, members. And also, I would like to allow one of my secretariat members from PBO to just maybe give you a short highlight of the economic situation that is prevailing at the moment, the fiscal framework we are operating at. And so, members, we believe that from National Assembly, the increase of about 21 billion to counties is fair enough. Members, we cannot increase, we cannot get more resources outside 21 billion. And you are also aware that even the finance bill, which is now in the National Assembly, is not projecting to raise any revenue, any additional revenue. So, members, I think I wanted to plead with senators that please come down to at where we are, at 408. All of us will be comfortable. National government will be comfortable. Counties will be comfortable. Also, another issue is that you are aware that even as we talk, counties have not yet received their full allocations. There are even arrears of going up to 3 months. So we don't want to just legislate and allocate resources which will not even be realized, will not be achieved. if we put money here in the budget and next financial year the economy struggles to raise revenue, the consequence is that there will be no money transferred to counties. So we don't want to put everybody in that situation. We also said just on Friday that the consequence of putting resources which will not be achieved in the budget is also to create more pending bills in counties, because counties will budget with what is already here in DORA. And in the end, the monies are not realized. So we are still going to pile more pending bills in counties, something which we cannot do as a responsible leadership. Co-chair.